Hey guys, Blake from Kite here, and today I'm going to teach you how to put your foot straps on your board. Seems like quite an easy thing to do and a step that's not very important, but I've had some students recently who that has been like the one thing holding them back. So it's something that you never learn in a lesson. No one ever teaches you how to set up your board. So it's something that a lot of people will just put their foot straps on, ride it however it is, and then you realize later that that's something that's holding you back, and you're like, oh wow, aha, I've had my foot straps on the whole time. And that was the case for me as well. Coming from wakeboarding, it's a bit different. So yeah, I'm going to teach you how to do that. I had a student last week who had all the pieces together. I'd had a couple lessons with him. He was riding, he was doing good. And the only thing that he was struggling with is going upwind. And so we went out there, we were putting all the pieces together, and he was kind of explaining to me how he loves kiteboarding, and how basically what he's found is that kiteboarding is controlling the panic. So there's so many things going on that it's a bit overwhelming at times. And it's like, you think of just learning to wakeboard or any other sport, playing the guitar, you're playing one thing and then that's all you're focusing on. Whereas kiting, you're flying the kite. There's an invisible force called the wind that you have to learn how to manage and control and keep at your back at all times. And then you're trying to fight against the wind and go upwind. You're learning to ride a board and learning to get pulled in all these different directions. So he referred to it as controlling panic. And once you get over controlling panic, you get all those steps, then it's just practice, which he was completely right. It's a bit overwhelming. And so yeah, today, one of the steps that was holding him back was he had a board, we had the right size kite, he had the right big board, easy to ride upwind, but the one thing that was holding him back was that his foot straps were straight. And so his hips were closed and he wasn't able to edge upwind. So here's how you set up your foot straps. Blake from Kite here, and today I'm going to teach you how to properly set up your foot straps, because it can really hold you back if they're not in the proper position, and it's something they usually don't teach you in a lesson. No one's going to go through every single step. There's already so much to learn, and there's all these steps along the way that you have to do. So an instructor is not going to try and overwhelm you by teaching you how to put foot straps onto a board. Alright, so stand on your board. Get your feet shoulder width apart, and then you're gonna act like you're turning on your board. So you're gonna twist your hips, and as you twist your hips like that, that's where you kind of want your board, because if you're going to the left, you're gonna twist your hips, you're twisting your hips to the left. If you're going to the right, twisting your hips to the right. So you want to first get your shoulders over your knees and just have your foot straps shoulder width apart. Then you want to twist to the left and the right. Second step, twist to the left and the right, and make sure that you have a little bit of angle in your foot, because if your foot straps are both straight like this, then your foot inside of them is going to have to turn. And that's okay a little bit, but it's going to be really uncomfortable if your feet are like completely sideways and digging into the edge of the strap. So step one is stand shoulder width apart on the board, just with your shoulders over your knees, right on the board with your feet straight. Step number two is act like you're riding, so twist your hips to the left and the right like you're opening up to ride upwind. You're going to twist, open up, twist, open up, and you're going to try and get in the position you would if you were trying to ride upwind. Step number three is to set your foot straps on the board so you're not having to angle your feet in the straps. So a common mistake which happened with my student is that we had the straps straight and then we were trying to open up upwind, and so your hips are being closed because they're set at 0-0. So if you guys are snowboarders, you kind of know this as well. You want a little bit of angle in your straps so that you can open up your hips and look down the hill, or look upwind or downwind wherever you're going. If your foot straps are straight, then it's going to close you up straight towards the kite, and you're always going to be having to fight against the board to get upwind. Step number 4 is you want to offset them so that they're facing the front of the board, and that way it'll help you ride upwind and allow you to open up your hips. Step number 5 is to place the screws in the right placement, set it in, put your feet back in them, and then see as you open up both ways, now that you've set them, if it's going to allow you to ride upwind properly and it'll be comfy for your feet. And obviously as you go and the more you ride, the more you'll learn and you can adjust them as you go. So just put a little angle to your foot straps, try something out, have a screwdriver on hand, and then if it's a little bit uncomfortable, if you're having to twist your feet too much to the straps, angle them out a little bit more, or if your stance is too narrow, you're feeling like you're coming down hard, then widen the stance a little bit. I like to ride a really wide stance because I like to land with my shoulders over my knees. So my knees have to be a little bit wider than my shoulders because I try and land really hard and I want to absorb all that impact. Whereas if you're just cruising, you'll be able to dig your edge in a little bit harder. Your feet are narrower because it'll push more directly onto the board. So yeah, just mess around with it. But that's basically the main thing that I'm trying to get across to you, is that you want your foot straps angled a bit, because if you're pigeon-toed, if your toes are both facing forward, or if you're straight like you'd just be standing up, then it's gonna hold you back from riding upwind. Another thing I'd like to add is that all foot straps are different. So I have a pair of Nash foot straps, I have a pair of slingshot foot straps. These are Cabrina foot straps right here. I also have North foot straps, so they're all a bit different. So usually if you buy new straps, they give you an owner's manual that shows you how to actually put the strap on. So basically we're just teaching you how to, once you've assembled your straps, how to position them on the board to ride and help you stay upwind rather than having it close you up and go downwind. So if you have questions, just call our shop and they'll be able to help you assemble your straps before this step. But this step is just going over how to position them in order to allow you to ride where you want to go. So I'm working with some Cabrina straps right here, and basically you can put them put the screw in 3 different holes. So you can adjust the screw in 3 different holes, which gives you 6 different options in how to offset your bindings. And just mess around with it, see what works best for you. Alright, so we've gone over how to set up your board. Another thing to understand with kiteboarding is riding toeside, riding heelside, riding goofy or regular. So these are all different terms that come with just the direction of your board and which way you're riding it. So it's kind of similar to all board sports. Everyone has a preferred stance unless you're super talented and you can ride both ways. But that's kind of what happens with kiteboarding, is you kind of become ambidextrous and you start off with goofy or regular side, which means if you're goofy, it doesn't actually mean that you're goofy, but it means that you ride right foot forward preferably. So if you were to strap on a snowboard or a skateboard or longboard, you would have your right foot forward as you start. Whereas regular means left foot forward, so you'd ride that direction with your left foot forward and your right foot behind. Most people are regular, not goofy, but I don't know, it kind of depends. I'm goofy, I'm quite goofy. But as I've learned to kiteboard and as I've progressed, it's gotten a lot easier over time and you learn to ride both ways. So the only way that you learn to ride both ways is just by doing it. Riding blind is fun. It's rather than riding right foot or left foot or toe side, which means that your back is to the kite and your chest is facing out. That adds extra 180 rotation where you are completely backwards and your shoulders are over the back of the board and you're traveling backwards. So the kite is pulling you one way and your chest is facing the other way. So that's called riding blind because you can't actually see the kite, and unless you look underneath your shoulder, or I'm sure Ryan will throw a video of that up for you guys, me riding blind, to see what I mean, help you understand it a little better. And then riding wrapped is just when you're unhooked. So riding blind, do a trick and land blind, but then if you ride wrapped, that means you're unhooked, riding wrapped. So As you guys progress, you'll have to think less and less about what's going on, because at the moment, or as you're learning, it seems quite overwhelming, but everyone hits the stage where it all clicks, and we want to help you get there, and whatever we can help you do along the way to make it more enjoyable, just let us know. I've really been enjoying teaching kiteboarding here at Yellow Kiteboarding in Doha, and I have like less than a week before I head to Vietnam and I'm teaching, but it's very rewarding to see that these videos help you guys. So if you do like them, please hit like and subscribe. It's pretty easy. Like if you can kiteboard, there's a lot of steps involved in that. All you have to do is click a button, so it helps us out. And then you'll stay tuned to all of our tips, and if you have any requests, just let us know. We try and get to them as quickly as possible, because yeah, we have a lot of videos coming out every week. We have a Friday video. So, but if you do have any requests, please let us know, and we will try and get them for you as soon as possible.